right, so, and I don't know what any of the spreads are. Dallas at Tampa.
7.5 right now, Tampa Bay.
7.5.
Total of 51.5. I'll start this one off real quick. This was 6.5 at one point, and I loved Tampa at 6.5. At 7.5, you obviously are not getting as much value because, as you know, favorites winning by 7 happens all the time. So that's kind of a losing situation. I will still, if I have to against the spread, I will take the Bucs. My favorite play here is to tease the Bucs through 7 and through 3 down to 1.5 with a few teams that we'll talk about in a little bit.
So this is your aid here. The problem is, as I look at Tampa Bay, it's like, what don't you like about this team? There are going to be more good receivers in this game than anybody's ever seen in a while. I mean, it's going to be a phenomenal game. But how do you bet the uncertainty of Dak Prescott, right? I mean, here's a guy coming off of the broken ankle. He gets into camp, first day in pads. Now he's got the shoulder. He's not practicing. He's got a week of practice in the last year. You know, so how do you bet that?
I think you go under 51.5, right? So this total opened in the low 50s. 51 is a relatively, there's a key number where a lot of games will land on that number. So if you can get a half point above it, you can go under, because I think you're right, Chris. I mean, you look at Tampa, the best thing that Tampa Bay did besides sign Tom Brady last year was spend 7 or so draft picks on the secondary in day 2 from, the first Todd Bowles year to the next Todd Bowles year. And, that when you look at Dallas, they're not empty of talent on the outside, but there are relatively few teams that can match them player for player, and I think Tampa Bay is one of those teams. And then when you look at the front four, not only do you have Pierre-Paul, you have Vea, you have Shaq Barrett, but you had Joe Tryon in the draft, and so you're just like, to me, you're just overwhelming Dallas here, and I could see a game where it could be a barn burner, it could be fun, but it could also be like 31-3 Tampa. And we're just like, we're grinding out Leonard Fournette runs for the last quarter and a half of the game, and this goes under.
Can I just say real quick, Tom Brady picking apart Micah Parsons in this game is going to be a thing of beauty, okay?
Yeah. It happens a lot with young linebackers.
He's getting a lot of love. I tell you right now, Tom Brady is watching film going, I am going to this guy up. Okay? So 51 might be the total for the Bucs in this one, to your point. Like, they could come out and stomp them. I'll say just 2 other quick things. I think Tom Brady's being underrated by the public. He was our most valuable player last year, our second highest graded behind Aaron Rodgers, quarterback last year. People don't think he had as good of a year because of the interception totals. I would bet on that. I'd bet on him to win MVP. I'd bet on Joe Tryon to be Rookie of the Year.
I'm going to just put some PFF numbers out there. Is that all right with you guys?
Go for it, yeah.
So the question's going to be new defense, new defensive coordinator, still questions in the secondary for Dallas, and the Bruce Arians-led offense with Tom Brady. Last year, their average depth of target, 9.7, second in the league. Their average time to throw, 2.4, fourth fastest in the league. That's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? How do you put that combination together? You're getting the ball down the field, no risk it, no biscuit, all that kind of stuff, and then still get the ball out of your hand that quickly. That is the most deadly of all combinations. And I thought it took them to mid-season last year for Brady to sort of make the conversion from what he was playing in New England all those years. And now with this group of receivers, I mean, Evans and Godwin and Antonio Brown, God only knows what O.J. Howard might do coming back this season. So
Scotty Miller.
It's a combination, though, right? It's a combination of Brady being an elite processor of information and the wide receivers, there being enough of them for at least one of them to be open early, right? And when you look at this team, you look at, like, every team dealt with issues last year. But the Bucs, they dealt with injuries to Godwin at times. They dealt with injuries to Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown doesn't play in the NFC title game, and Scotty Miller catches a touchdown at the end of the half that again, he's their 5th wide receiver, right? We're looking at other elite teams in the NFL and saying, can we find a third option? Tampa's got 5 or 6, right? So when
they drafted Jalen Darden, he might be a third guy for most
Brady
teams.
hits his back foot, somebody's open, right? And for a lot of quarterbacks, they might not be good enough at understanding the offense to distribute the ball that quickly, right? They might have to go 1-2, but he's seen it all at this point. As you said, it took them a little bit of time, but once he figured that out, like. It was. You look at the NFC title game, because that was the game that was the most contested, I think, for them in the playoffs. They were what on third down? Like 7 for 10, 7 for 12. There was some outrageous number on third down. And to me, to answer your very first question, which is where could the Bucs fail? I think the Bucs could fail by not necessarily being strategic enough with early downs, right? Because last season we saw them run a lot on early downs to Fournette and Ronald Jones, and Brady bailed them out a lot. If you see any sort of regression from Brady due to age, which I don't think any of us expect, but happens to everybody, if you see early down running and a lot of third downs, and Brady retreat just a little bit from where he was last year, that might be where the Bucs are weak.
What if he's better? Giovanni Bernard, what if he's better? Right. In the healthy knee, what if he's better? Let me flip it over because I want to go on to the next game. But Dak Prescott over the last 2 years, in 2019, yards per play, highest in the league, 6.4. 2020, with Prescott, got better, 6.5, second in the league. 2020, after the injury, drops to 4.7, last in the league. So you're talking about the same sort of impact at the quarterback position if he's right, if he's healthy, and if he's ready to go. I just don't know how you can do that without practice or a preseason game or something.
I am long Dak Prescott for this season. In game 1 is maybe the only place I'd fade him potentially. But like MVP, these two guys, Brady and Prescott, when we come to the end of the year, could be the MVP favorites. I mean, they could be battling.
That's absolutely possible. You're taking.
So I thought we had to go against the spread. So I went.
You do
Bucs.
Spread. No over under crap.
Okay.
That's too much to keep
I'll take
track
Tampa
of.
Bay laying the points.
Tampa Bay.
Okay. I'm not saying because I'm
you have
calling
to
the
call
game,
it
but
the
I
same.
will tell you guys before I get
Good.
out of here.